Hey, everybody. Scott from Surviving Life's Pickles here.
Encounter with Recovery Friendly Workplace of Utah.
We wanted to stop by really quick today and give you a little bit more information on RFW and how you can get your business to join and if it's right for your business. So, Recovery Friendly Workplace of Utah, or RFWUT, will be known for helping businesses reduce stigma and promoting a respectful work environment. We will also be providing education and awareness for both the business and the employee as far as substance abuse, mental health disorders, and other life's challenges that come up in everybody's day to day life.
We want to provide resources for our employees and employers throughout Utah, including but not limited to recovery coaching, peer support, mental health professional services, and being able to change your culture in your workplace in Utah to accommodate and be there for folks that are running into workplace issues and in recovery.
How we're going to do this is we are going to provide that education piece that I talked about, helping businesses integrate mental health into their daily safety programs, along with focusing on a referral to help rather than a punishment when people are struggling with life's challenges. Is this correct for you? Yes. If you're an employee, your business qualifies to be part of this nonprofit venture. If you are a business owner, yes, your business qualifies. If you're interested in learning more about RFW here in Utah, currently, please reach out to me at scott@survivinglifespickles.com, and I will get you in touch with one of our RFW advocates to set up a meeting to have a conversation about what we are doing. Soon we'll have our website up and going with all the information at your fingertips. But until then, again, please reach out to Scott at survivinglifespickles.com, and I will get you in touch with your RFW advocate so we can start the process of improving the workplace and reducing stigma. Welcome back, everybody, to Surviving Life's Pickles. Thank you again for tuning in this week. Everybody, we can't thank all of our listeners enough for taking the time out of your extremely busy lives, your jobs, time away from your family, to hang out with us for this little bit of time this week. We appreciate you guys taking value in what we are trying to do here and sharing messages about our guest stories and their lives and how their experiences hopefully can help you with something you're going through. So thank you again to all of our guests for tuning in. Again, we couldn't do it without you guys. But like we do with every episode, we're going to go around and start what we're grateful for. And then we'll kind of roll into our guest here. We have a wonderful guest here, Shiloh Rowe. And Shiloh, you're in Austin, correct?
Yes, Austin,
Yep.
Texas, capital Texas, right in the heart of it.
And again, we're joined with my beautiful wife, Hillary, today, hanging out with us.
Hello, everybody.
And with that, he'll start us off with some gratitude today because I'm throwing you on the spot because you say you were struggling.
I'm still struggling. It's been a long day, a long, busy day. I'm definitely grateful to have been a part of somebody's recovery. Last night, I was able to visit with an old friend, give her a shout out. Her name's Teresa, and she just graduated from a outpatient program, and she invited me to come and help share that moment with her. And I'm just so grateful that she asked me to be a part of that, and that I was just honored to be present for that moment, because those are big moments in our lives, especially somebody in recovery who's trying to get in recovery and is just kind of starting out that recovery journey. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'll take it next here, Shiloh. I'm really grateful today, and I've talked about relationships in past episodes and how I'm grateful for all these new relationships that we have created since we started this. But I am truly grateful for the business relationships today. We are working on our nonprofit, getting up and going, and meeting with some of these businesses that I've been working with on different avenues to shift gears and talk to them about mental health and substance abuse and how we can help them at their place of work with this stuff, and getting 100% buy-in from everybody on their team is amazing. I mean, I'm usually dealing with the guys out in the field and we're working at job sites and different things like that. And so to have this switch and still get the 100% buy-in from everybody has been amazing. And I am so grateful that I have the trust and the respect built up with these guys, that they trust us to come out and help them with this hard topic and these hard things. So that's what I'm grateful for today, is those relationships that go a lot deeper than just a customer.
Yeah, it's a good one, babe.
All right.
What about you, Shiloh?
What am I grateful for? Oh, well, first of all, I'm grateful for having, for you guys asking me to reach out and be on your show. That was a blessing in itself. Anything that helps get the word out there. But yeah, thankful for you guys inviting me on your show and giving me a chance and a platform to talk into. I've spoken a couple of times with different folks. We've got programs that we're working on for the construction side and the veteran side. And the biggest advocacy we can push for that is word of mouth and just getting it out there. Being able to say something and approach folks and have it. So I'm thankful for that, what you guys are doing with us tonight. In the work life today, I just started teaching day one of a 4-day OSHA 30 class. And I'm thankful for our members that send their employees to me and trusting those employees with me to take this 30 hours of training and getting that so they can go back to their work sites and be safe. And so I'm very thankful to have guys that are receptive to it, because a lot of times you can just sit in like training class and be all mean mugged and snug about things. But we kind of do storytelling as a learning format. So, here's the law, here's how this law translates, here's a story. Now you could use this, or somebody that didn't use that, and it could have, saved somebody's life or saved an injury. Well, like I said, I'm very thankful for our members and our guys that are attending class, and their companies are seeing the value in getting them trained up and doing things right and safe.
That's awesome.
That's a great one.
I really like that you say you are working on storytelling when you're teaching, because I have found, especially in the construction industry, storytelling is huge, because you need to be able to relate to these guys. And if it's just somebody up there talking, they have a hard time just relating. But when you can bring it in with a story or a situation that they can see themselves in, I think it's so much more effective.
It's more engaging.
There's studies that are coming out. I'm going to be signing up for a course when I go to the AGC Safety Conference next week. Part of it, they're talking about how to use storytelling to get training across. If I give you a paragraph of what I expect you to learn as of rules and laws, and here's 29 CFR 1926.500, you're not going to remember that. But if I show you a picture or tell you a story of a guy that's standing on a ladder because he overreached and he did this. One of my favorite stories I got from an OSHA inspector in what we call confined space, getting into small areas that are hard and confined to get into. And you can have a normal confined space, or you can have a permit required confined space. That's a confined space that has a hazard in it. So they tell the story about a plumber that goes underneath of a house to fix an AC guy goes underneath the house to fix this AC for an elderly lady in downtown Austin. He's looking around and trying to figure out why the AC isn't working. And come to find out, there is a cougar live and kicking underneath the house that he just crawled underneath of. And so he has to backtrack. And there's video of this, and it backtracks out. You can see this, cat with big eyes. He's got big eyes, and he's like, well, I found a problem. And it's like, that's when a confined space went to a permit confined space. A hazard was introduced.
Definitely a hazard in there that was unknown. So you got to make sure that you inspect them for those unknown hazards, because you never do.
And that's exactly
Yeah.
I stress with the point is with the guys. I'm like, you won't go into another confined space before you think, okay, where's the cougar? Okay, where's the cougar?
Yep. That's
Well, that's awesome.
It's so funny because at my work, we actually just did our OSHA training yesterday on personal safety as well.
Good. Congratulations.
Well, thank you again, Shiloh, for taking the time out of your extremely busy week to hang out with us. We really kind of introduced each other, or we kind of found each other through LinkedIn, and really because of a common connection, Jason Cuskelly through
Yeah.
Typhoon. And he's an amazing guy, and he definitely connects a lot of people in this industry where he's just trying to help. I mean, they have a great platform and they're doing a lot of good, and a lot of good connections are coming out of what they're doing. And so I'll give a shout out to Jason because I would hope that he's listening right now, and tell him thank you for the introduction. And I have mentioned you, Shiloh, in a couple of seminars that I've talked about just briefly because of your construction veterans program that you were doing that we'll get into, just because it's very one of a kind. And every time I've mentioned it, I would hope people are been looking you up and seeing what's going on with it. But the word is that, again, we're all after the same thing. So let's collaborate. Let's talk about everything that everybody's doing, because we all know somebody that can benefit from part of something. And so the more information, the more resources we have, the better off we are.
Absolutely. Couldn't said it better. Thank you.
So,
I agree.
well, Shiloh, let's just talk a little bit about you. I mean, you're in Austin. What is a little bit about your history? What's your role now? Because you are working for the AGC. Let's kind of get up to that point, and then we'll start diving into the program that you've helped start.
All right. Well, I wasn't born in Texas, but I got here as fast as I could. I was born and raised in Virginia. Being raised there, I ended up joining the military after high school, and the military is what brought me to Texas. And I was stationed at Fort Hood. I was there for a little bit, and then this little thing kicked up over in Saudi Arabia that we called Desert Storm.
You got to go to Desert Storm then.
I was a Desert Storm vet. Yep, I went over with the 180th and served. I think we put 6.5 months in over there in that time frame, and came home. I did get injured. Left foot was crushed. Nothing heroic. It was an accident, and then they pinned it back on. So my left foot, my left ankle has 3 pins that are pinning, holding them, so it doesn't flex and move. So I can't really run. And if you can't run, you soldier. So I ended up getting out of the military.
Yeah, you got to be able to run away from the bad guys, right?
Run to them or run from them, one or the other. You got to do it. You got to make these runs. So I ended up getting out of the military. I was at Fort Hood, and before I got out, I met a little Texas girl and local girl, and decided this is the love of my life. So we got married pretty young. As soon as I was married, I got sent to Turkey, and spent 2.5 years in Izmir, Turkey, with NATO forces. So that was interesting. We came back home, and then I ended up getting out of the service there, right down the street, Austin, Texas, semiconductor industry. I went to work for AMD and Semiconductor Devices. So I went from working in the military to working in a semiconductor plant. We made all the computer
A
chips.
little bit of a change.
Big change. Big change. Believe it or not, the thing that drew me the most to it, the guy goes, "Hey, and how would you like to make this amount of money? But you got to work inside in the air conditioning." And I went, "I'm sold."
Yeah, being in Texas, air conditioning, that sounds like a great option.
But so spent many years in the semiconductor industry. I ended up getting out of the semiconductor industry and going to work into construction. I can say that my son got me a job in construction. He got an internship to be a electrician right out of high school, during high school, and the company he was working for was in the search for a safety guy. And so he went to his boss and said, "Hey, my dad's a safety guy. You got to talk to him." And so I was hired on by the electrical subcontractor. I worked for him for about 8.5 years. And during that time of working for that electrical subcontractor as a safety director, I was a member of AGC. And so I'd go to the AGC, which that is the Associated General Contractors of America, and this was the Austin chapter. And I would attend the monthly safety meetings and mix and mingle and go to the social events and training events. And when they came time to have a safety director, hey, let's talk. And I moved over. And so I've been at AGC for over 3 years, going on 4.
Okay. And there, for the people that are listening and tuning in that aren't in the industry, really briefly, what does the AGC do for its members and businesses, for everybody, so they can understand how important it is what you guys do? So, what do you guys do there for all your members and contractors?
Absolutely. So we are a trade association, but if you're on the inside of it, you take a look, it's not really an association, it's more like a community. Everyone, we're lucky enough that here in the Austin area, our members come together. So we have our general contractors, all of our big players in the Austin area, they're our members. And I run the safety department. So all the safety directors, safety managers, those in charge of safety, they come together once a month at our location. And we network and we train together. We share training experiences. Hey, this is what's working for me, not working. Be careful about this. We had this issue, or maybe a question. Hey, I've got this going on. Who's run across this issue? How best did you get that done? So we really do kind of take the competitor hat off and become a network of professionals that work together. We also we don't have just general contractors, we have subcontractors and we have suppliers as well. And we all have added value that we put into this. Everything from, guys like Milwaukee Tool and Suncoast Rentals. We have Alaska Drywall. A lot of our
Equipment dealers as well would be probably part of that. You have a group of those as well. Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so we handle just the safety side of it. My boss handles more of the political and legislative portions of it. So he's working with the city, and he's working with legislation and anything that's coming through with that. And then Tony, she's our membership director. We put on networking events. So it seems like there's one every month. We've got something going on, whether it's a Top Golf, a skeet shoot, a fishing tournament, a happy hour, a barbecue cook-off. There's something going on almost every month. We've got something for our members to get together and network with. And sometimes it's just something as simple as meet the GCs, right? We'll have a few GCs come in, put on a breakfast. And if you're thinking about bidding a job with a certain GC, or if you want to know about a certain project that's going to be coming up, you can come there and get that information directly from those folks.
Oh, I like that. And that's one thing that I've noticed, at least here from the Utah chapter that we've been a part of, is those networking events turn into fun. Like everybody pulls off that competitor hat, like you were saying, and we're all just brothers in the business and sisters in the business, just getting to know each other and supporting each other.
Yeah.
What are a couple things since you've been with the AGC on, working for them, that you have experienced that have been kind of highlights for you in your position?
So I went from being where I worked for a subcontractor and I had personal relationships with the individual workers of that one subcontractor. Moving into the AGC, I have become, or I've started relationships with multiple companies and multiple. So I went from kind of a vertical to a horizontal. It spread out immensely, where I went, hey, I've got, 20, 30, 50 guys I know, to, hey, I've got 300 to 1,000 guys I know now. It just kind of ballooned up and went over. And so the networking of it and the reaching out, and at the local level to national level, meeting guys like Jake, they were Typhoon, right? Meeting Brandon Anderson from Missouri AGC, tons of different people and different levels that I get to work with and talk with. Some of the old school guys that, hey, these guys have been around forever. You can learn a lot from them. They were here when they first started, putting in some of the major architecture in the city, to, hey, these are some of the brand new guys that are bringing, hey, they can teach you about AI and they can show you all of this and they know all of I recently got to take a tour of one of the data centers. Data centers are like with the big thing that's going in construction. They're building them and putting them up. And so I got to take a tour of the inside and walk through and see, hey, it's like walking through the matrix. It's math. And it's just rows, rows, and rows, thousands upon thousands of data center modules that are set up inside there, and the electricity that goes to that, and so you get to see how it's laid out, how they're working it and doing it, and you're like, "Holy cow, is this
Yeah,
real?"
it's cool. We have a couple of Facebook's largest data centers here, and when they were building them, I had kind of a similar opportunity to go through and just blown away what goes into those places. It's incredible to think about the information that's inside that building.
So the
It's probably really interesting to kind of see behind the scenes that most people wouldn't necessarily see as well.
Exactly. One of our members is J.E. Dunn, and they were building the 600 Guadalupe building that was down there, and tallest building in Austin, massive. And while they were getting it finished, they had the very top penthouse floor put in. I got to take a tour, go all the way up to the penthouse, and get on top of the penthouse, standing
Wow.
at the tallest elevation you could see forever. I swear I could see Dallas,
Wow.
and you're just like,
Well, it
wow.
is pretty flat out there, so you probably could see for miles and
Yeah.
miles.
You definitely had it seemed like you had about a 50-mile view. It was crazy. Um, but the thing, if you go, who else is ever going to get this chance to stand here and see this at
Mhm.
this point? And you're just kind of like, wow, this is kind of cool. I got to snap a couple of pictures for this and kind of, put it out there and celebrate it. And, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have the relationship that I had with that contractor and with those individual members, and being able to say, hey, here's a trustworthy person. We'll bring them onto our job site and we'll do this. Those things I really appreciate.
Those are the fun things. And that's what I've enjoyed about being in this industry. I've been in the equipment side and the hydraulic side and some of the part supplying side. So I've seen a lot of different sides of this industry, and you get to see something new every day. And that's the fun part. I love that part. Well, part of reason we wanted to have you on here, Shiloh, is I wanted to talk a little bit about the AGC, kind of what you have been doing as far as mental health in the construction industry. We've had multiple people on our show that we have discussed this topic with, but I want to hear your point of view of what do you see happening in our industry as far as mental health going on? And what is the AGC doing to either support or, I guess, participate in educating people better?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I joined AGC, we're at the Austin level, the Austin chapter, and I was like, hey, you're going to go to the national meeting. You're going to get involved nationally. You're going to end up joining some sort of national team, some type sort of committee, and getting involved in that. And there's tons of different committees, different ways that you can get involved and work and network in a nationwide level. So I chose to get involved with the AGC National Construction Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Task Force. Big law.
Wow.
I actually
Big
didn't know
law.
that was a thing.
Yep. If you go online and you Google AGC and mental health, it'll pop up automatically for you. We have probably one of the largest free libraries of resources for construction mental health of anybody that's out there. We network with all of our members, all of our states, everything is listed there. So going in and learning about this, going, hey, mental health and suicide prevention, and the numbers that we saw reflected from those that were subject to suicide, and seeing what those numbers are, and you're like, wow, those are atrocious numbers. If we had the nightly news to come on and said that 5 to 1,000 people were killed in a certain town or a certain city, it would be an atrocity. It would be people on the streets and stuff. But we say, hey, this branched out across the entire nation over the course of a year. People weren't paying attention till you start bringing it up and saying it. So we started looking at, okay, it is an issue. But we actually lose more people in the construction industry to suicide than we do to falls off of ladders and electrocutions and being crushed by and caught in between and all of those what we call the focus four. We, instead of job accidents and injuries falling, not falling, but happening on a job site, we lose way more folks to suicide. And then you can add into that drug overdoses. And you take a look at those numbers, and you're like, we're way up here. We're way up here. We're looking at OSHA levels that are here, suicide levels and our drug overdoses are up here. We've got to do something. We've got to target it. And so we start learning about it. We start putting advocacy out there, learn about it. And here's 988. Here's a problem. Awareness campaigns. And so as I'm sitting in the task force and I kind of raised my hand, being a veteran, I had heard of the 22 a day, 22 veterans a day were taking their lives. And so I asked, I said, of these numbers that we're seeing in construction, how many of them are veterans? And they said, we don't know. We don't track that. Why? And I'm like, well, if you've got a veteran that has got prior stressors in his life and subject to suicide, and then you're going to get out of the service and you're going to go into work in construction and it has its stressors and that will possibly lead to suicide. Now you've kind of crossed that point, right? You've got a dual risk person.
Yeah.
Who's not tracking? So I contacted the VA. I was like, is anybody tracking what these military members that get out of service, what occupation they're in when you get notification that there's been a suicide? If we're not doing it, we just track that they are veterans. And on the private side, they're just tracking that you're in construction, not that you're a veteran. They weren't kind of dual tracking.
Right.
I kind of said, I think maybe you need to, because we got somebody here that's not only at risk at 1, but at risk at 2. And if those things are out there, we realize it, we can do something. If our construction numbers are way up here, and I say that, hey, 30% of those numbers are veterans, and we can reach out on the veteran side and reduce that by 30%, that's a big bite. Big bite.
Yeah.
I kind of like using the phrase, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And I look at it and say, I may not be able to answer everybody's questions, every part of these problems all at once, but I can take one bite out of this at a time, and I can focus on our veterans that are working construction. So I kind of said, okay, I'll do it. I'll find a way to put something together, and
And so you kind of pioneered it.
I'll start tracking it, and I'll see what comes from it. So looking at all the different things that are out there, I'm like, man, the VA has a program that's out there. AGC has training programs out there. Safe Projects has stuff out there. Mates, that's another one that's out of Australia. They're looking at bringing it to the United States, but they're going to call it Compass. There's all these training and awareness and what you can do to help yourself and help somebody else. And they're on two sides. And I said, I don't need to come up with another program. I need to come up with a way that we can use these programs that are out there. I don't want to recreate the wheel. There's enough wheels spinning. I want to put all the wheels in line.
Use the information that's already available and just put it to use. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm doing. And so I came up with the idea. I said, all right, I'm going to do construction veterans reducing suicide. Like, what do I call it? I'm going to call it exactly that. I'm not going to make it. So we came up with CVRS, Construction Veterans Reducing Suicide. Well, CVRS kind of looks like it spells it, the acronym covers. CVRS. So he said, let's run with that. We'll use the name covers. If you've been in the military, you've used that terminology. Covers means two things. Either you're aligning yourself, breast to the left and to the right, and you're covering down behind someone. So when you look at something, you see one. That's cover. Also, when your buddy is taking fire and you want to help him get out, you return fire on that, you're providing cover fire for him. So covers kind of played into the military side of that as well. So we stuck and went with that. And I said, I don't want to make this about me. I don't want this to be Shiloh's thing. I want this to be all of ours. So I want to make this a peer-to-peer. I want us to all learn together. We all have a voice at the table. If you come in, if you're going to sit in this meeting with us, you're going to take the training from the VA, you're going to take this training from AGC, you're going to take this training from all these different locations that we can use. You're going to use this training. We're all going to be equal in it. I'm going to help facilitate it. I'm going to keep the ball in the bounds. We're all going to shoot towards that goal. And that's what I've started. And that's what we work. And it works. You are more likely.
But question on that, Shiloh, is you're saying that you're teaming up with the VA, you're doing the training as well. So are they offering the same training at the VA and the AGC? It's just two different areas to get it? Or are you offering two different styles of training depending on where it's being given at?
So the VA training is strictly about military. And so you're going to get all the military answers. Here's what you do for the military. Here's how you use your VA. Here's how you use this. Here's how you can use your VA benefits to help you with your mental health. And you learn all of that. The AGC has got a training session out that's, hey, here's how to use your construction supervisor awareness training. If you notice somebody that's feeling like this and doing this, here's how to use your EAP. Here's how to approach and do this. Here's what you should, here's how, things that you can help out with somebody on the job site to work with them. And so it's getting just cross-reference to training.
Same training, just two different places.
And giving multiple resources.
Multiple resources, correct.
Okay. No, that's awesome. So you mentioned a couple of those style trainings. So how are you working with the VA and the construction industry to make sure you guys are covering all the needed topics? How does that collaboration look, and how's that looked as you guys have kind of expanded this program?
Well, I have to reach out and contact them. And so I'll reach out and say, to my local VA rep and say, hey, this is what I've got going on. And they say, well, we have a veteran suicide program. That's great. Bring it to me. I'm going to give you to talk to veterans that are in construction, because here's the problem around, here's that dual point I'm trying to reach. And they're like, that's a great idea. We'll send you an instructor. You became a 501c3. And the whole purpose of it was not necessarily for raising funds and money, but so that people could give us the training that we're looking for, right? I don't need the money. What I need is the goods. What I need is send me a instructor that will talk to a room full of construction veterans, give them the information that they need. So they donate their instructor to the Covers program. Person comes in and I set up a training session. The guys come in, sit in, they get the training, and then we talk and network back together.
Okay. With that, you just recently told me that you're headed out to get some more training that's going to apply to this. Tell us a little bit more about that, of these other classes and these other trainings that you are seeking to add to the Covers program there.
So I got the chance, because of AGC, I got the chance to meet and come in contact with a guy named Cal Byer. Cal works with the SAFE projects. They branch out in different things. They happen to be working on a veterans project. And so through him, I got to do the SAFE projects, military veteran training. That had Joel Bennett. Dr. Joel Bennett was leading that one. So I went up and took the training for that. Said, hey, I could use this. If I can use it, somebody else can use it. So I contacted them. Hey, how do I give your training to my guys so we can just continuously have more training? Once a quarter, there's always some sorts of training. It's not do it once, forget about it. Every quarter, you're going to get something new to refresh you and keep you up. And then through Cal and Cal working through other organizations, I got an invitation to attend February's Construction, Mental Health, and Well-Being Conference. It's going to be in Portland, Oregon in February. And out there, they've got some training that's available that now I'm going to sign up to take this training, and that is the Vital Cog training. And again, it's on mental health and awareness, how to see things in yourself, how to see things in others, and how to approach it, how to bring it to others. And that's what I'm looking for. Like I said, if I have to take the training and come back and give it to other guys, great. I could get some of the other guys. Hey, do you want to sign up for the training? Will you become the instructor for this? go do it? Or do you know somebody that's giving this instruction? You know, Scott, if you had a program that you were going to help with this and you're willing to donate it to the coverage program, we'd reach out to you and say, hey, either through Teams meetings or if you happen to be here live, come in and we'll get the guys together and put that training forth and we'll put it out there. Now there's another way. Not everything works the same for everybody. We're not all going to sit around in blue spandex and it's not going to work for all of us, right? Maybe your thing is hiking. Maybe your thing is fly fishing. Maybe you want to go horseback riding. Maybe you want to do trail riding or something. Maybe you want to go do an AR shootout. Maybe that's what you like to do, and it's work with these things. American Sniper, you heard about that book with Chris Kyle and how he was reaching guys and he was taking guys to the range and working with them and doing things that was going through and working. The equine therapy, working with horses. To work with a horse, working with them, you have to have your own energy, your own nervousness about yourself. You have to calm down because if you're all angry and you're trying to work around a horse ain't gonna let you. It's going to sense that it's back away from it. It's not going to work with it. Fly fishing, right? To be able to calm down, listen, watch the water, cast that line, get that line to lay straight, look for it, and finding that peacefulness that you can get in fly fishing and casting. It works. They've got a training that's out there that will help you working with honeybees. That sounds like it would work for me. I'd be like, nope, I'm out. All the buzzing, I'd be like, nope, that's not making me feel calm at all. So, but I've not tried it. There's black metal forging where you can go in and work and hammer away on iron out of forge. You make a knife or make something and with what's the term there? Motorcycle Missions was one of. They got a group that they get veterans together and they build a motorcycle from scratch. You weld the frame, you build the motor, you put it all together, you paint it. A group of guys do all of this and they learn about things while they're doing it. It gives you some focus on it. And when you're done, you've got this classic masterpiece of a bike. They put the bike up for auction and the money goes back into the program.
All these programs you're telling me about, so there's something new, and I don't know if you've heard about this yet, but you're probably familiar with AFSP, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So they have been on a mission for the last 12 to 18 months of building an entire construction based program. They've got a lot of resources, but the program is officially launched. And so, what they did, the first part of the program is they have their 60 to 90-minute in classroom Talk Saves Lives class, but it is 100% based around construction and the environment. So they've done all the research, worked with people like yourself and different people all over the country to put this program together that is specific for men and women in the construction industry. But the best part to me is they did a 20-minute version that is a safety integrated toolbox talk. And so you can integrate that to any daily safety meeting, any monthly safety meeting, any toolbox meeting at the first of the day. It's 15, 20 minutes, really to the point of giving these guys information of what to look for, what to be aware of. If you're having these type of feelings, what are the resources? It is absolutely amazing, Shiloh. And I would tell you that for your next training, you'd probably need to reach out. And when we're done, I actually can probably send you the information. I have all the contact information on how to get certified with them to do that. Very impressed. They have a whole bunch of stuff coming out on their website as well that is going to support this entire campaign. The other thing that's going along with this is they are doing what's called the construction hike for suicide prevention.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard about that, but here in Utah, I believe they've done it for a couple years. Ours is going to be here in May, and they're expecting hundreds to turn out to this hike this year because we're pushing it very, very hard and getting people out there. And I'm super excited that we have foundations in the country that have recognized and have put their foot forward and found a way to provide specific training for our industry about this. I'm just excited. We are actually on the next go around to get certified here and start teaching with our foundation. We'll have 3 or 4 of our people that'll be certified to teach that one specifically, and we're excited about that. So,
That's great, man. Thank you. Thank you for the information. Thank you for what you're doing on that as well.
Everything that you're explaining with the experiential programming and trainings are so amazing. There is a lot of research done with the experiential programming that if you get a person involved into something that they're interested in, their brain actually opens up to learn new things. And I am not a medical person who knows anything about the brain, but I have seen this in the treatment center that I actually work for, have a very, very large experiential program of just about everything that you named, minus the motorcycles. But it really does help that person kind of step outside of themselves to learn a new skill, but then also to be able to connect with others and learn new things as they're doing that experience. So I think that's amazing that you guys are implementing that into your program as well.
Yeah, we're literally not turning anybody away. We're like, come in, give us, because something's going to work for somebody. Something's going to hit on just the right channel. Whether it's, hey, my buddy Rob,
Rob McKinney.
yeah, with his program, and he focuses it on the BAMO breaths and breathing and stuff like that. If that breathing, if that works for you and you can do it, and that helps you calm down and helps you reflect. He also has another thing that they work with taking cold showers. Do the thing that's outside of your normal. Go in there and do that, and take that shocking cold shower, knowing that you're putting yourself in something that's uncomfortable and that you can handle it and you can move forward. That you can handle that stress you put up on yourself. You can do other things and work through. Something is just taking your morning shower, making sure it's a cold one when you go to do it. Right, that polar challenge kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, not about it. I'm more about my hot shower, but I get where he's going with it.
Well, I have to back that, Shiloh. I was just like you. Cold water, cold temperatures. No, no, thank you. I don't want anything to do with that. But I now have a cold tub in my home gym because I sit in it 3 to 4 times a week because I found that there's not many other things that force me to shut everything off in my body and focus on survival for 5 minutes of being in that cold temperature. And for me, there's a lot of physical benefits to it, but the mental benefits way outweigh the physical benefits. No one for me because I have noticed such a change in myself, being able to focus, being able to de-stress, all these things from that cold water experience. So I absolutely love that there's more people talking about it. And I know it's not for everybody, but I will be one of those advocates till the day I die of how it really can help you de-stress when your body has to just focus on surviving. I mean, it's an amazing skill.
You're gonna put me out there on that challenge and go, okay, Scott can do it. I can at least try the cold shower at the house. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of them, but yeah, I can do it. I
I'm
can do
with
the,
you, Shiloh.
but to just the point being to try different things, bring different teachings in to teach different things in different ways. Something's going to resonate with somebody in a way that works for them.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. And so right now, your program is strictly out of Austin, right? It hasn't expanded out of that as of current.
Correct. So I'm in the process of trying to box up the program and go, okay, here's what you need to do. Here's what we have to start. And I'm going to have AGC. And if a chapter at AGC wants to open up a chapter of a covers chapter, we're going to set it up so they can do it. The only thing it really takes is a champion, somebody that's willing to kind of head it up and do it, to reach out to those around you and sit down and say, hey, let's get together, let's hold this meeting. And then, hey, I'm going to drop the VA rep in your lap and they're going to help provide you with the training. Hey, I'm going to drop AGC's training in your lap. If you got something local, we'll put that in your lap too. We'll bring that in and what's working for you. And then we'll start networking together and really make it grow. Like I said, my hopes are to have it go to every AGC chapter that there is in the state. And then from there to anywhere else that it might be needed. But it's not agency.
So as you're saying that, I'm curious, as you roll this covers program out through the AGC, you said you are a 501c there in Austin. Does that mean that each chapter will have to open their own C, or could it be part of the AGC program? How's that going to look?
It'll be separate from AGC. So AGC is their own entity. The covers program is, in conjunction with AGC, but it's a standalone entity. It's a standalone 501c, not associated in that aspect, except that, hey, we hold it underneath the same roof. I happen to be an AGC employee. That's the founder of the covers program. But it's completely separate. If somebody goes to open up a new covers program at another AGC location, if they need to be a separate 501c3, they can be. We can set it up so they got it on their own, or we can set it up where they are an umbrella underneath the parent covers program based out of Austin, which is probably the way I'll start with it at first. I may be a little bit. I'm definitely not in this for the money. Been part of associations where I've seen, not association, but part of different events and things that have happened where, to me, money gets in the way. People start focusing on the money and this and that, and then you just kind of go, okay, you're a money making machine now, and you left everybody else behind. There's kind of a national organization that got a lot of publicity for helping veterans, and then there was some bad news that came out about them that, hey, they're pocketing all this money, meaning that they were a for-profit organization, not a nonprofit, so the money was going to them and only a small amount was going to the vets. And then that's a lot of that's been changed now, but some folks still think about that when you bring that certain topic up.
Yeah.
So you're, and maybe we can talk after this, schedule a time to discuss this. So I mentioned to you when we've talked before about our nonprofit that we were launching here. It's called Recovery Friendly Workplace, providing training education to all businesses with a heavy focus on construction and mining here in Utah for a lot of different items. That program started off very similar to how you're starting yours off in 2018 in New Hampshire. And what happened is the governor there seen a big problem, decided to implement a program, built it up, and it became so big and kind of like yours is growing awareness and everything as it is right now. In 2023, they were in a good way forced to form the Recovery Friendly Institute National Foundation. And that foundation is just kind of the guidelines, and they help each state launch their own so that you can provide the same services at each state, where it's not a state ran C, it's not a just a one-off 501c. It is backed by all 50 states. Everyone has their own, but each is an individual program. I can see something like that being very, very beneficial for you as you move forward and how to launch that and move everything forward. So that might be something to look at as kind of maybe their framework, a little bit of how they've done that. And I could put you in contact just to, so you could learn and maybe research on how to get this moving really smoothly going forward into other AGC locations.
I mean, I've gotten support from National AGC that, hey, we like what you're doing. And if we could roll that kind of invitation out, we'd be behind supporting that. It sounded great. They give me the floor to speak about it all the time. I've heard from some other chapters, hey, yeah, when you're ready, let us know. We'd like to have one out here. We've got a large veteran population. We think it would go over well. And it's really just like saying, hey, we're going to hold a meeting. If you're a construction veteran, come see us.
I like
Sit
that.
in
I
on
really
it.
do.
It really is peer to peer. So you just kind of, hey, how's your day? What's going on, man? Have you connected with anybody? I'll give you a good example of it working. There was a gentleman from Colorado. He was working here in Austin, working for a hospital, and his niche was that they put in this alerting systems for hospitals. So specialty equipment to be put in. So he's down here for 11 months by himself, away from family and friends. He's got a 1-bedroom apartment, and he's staying in it. And He doesn't have anybody. He goes to work all day, puts 12 hours in, goes back and sits in a room by himself. Nobody know anybody in town. What's he going to do? Maybe go out to a bar, sit there and drink. He sit at his apartment and drink by himself. And he's just like, God Almighty. I'm away from, everybody for 11 months. Every couple of months, I can take a weekend off and fly back home, visit somebody, and come back. He happened to hear about our program from one of the vets on the job site he was on. And he reached out to me, and I reached out to him. So I got back in contact with him, and we started talking, invited him out to a meeting, invited him out to a happy hour. We kind of got together, and we're like, hey, I'm not here to preach at you. I'm here to be a friend. I'm here to be a shoulder. It's like, hey man, I'm a vet too. What's going on, right? We can bust on each other. We can laugh about this, or I can help you settle a problem you might have. And so we kind of made that connection with it. And he was like, man, this has been so good just being able to have this contact to know something. Because I was literally sitting in my apartment going, all I do is work and drink and then go to sleep. And he's like, this is not good. It's putting me in a bad mental position. And he heard about the program. Okay, we'll go out. And then we met at a happy hour. So when you go to a happy hour, I was like, all right, you're going to have a beer anyway. Why don't you have it with a friend or somebody that's sitting around? I didn't profess that we were an AA group. I didn't profess that we were, a religious group. I just said, we're a veteran group that cares about your mental health. Let's sit down and talk
And you're
about
just
it.
meeting them where they're at.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, all these experiential things, find out what they're interested in and join them, or find somewhere where they can go do it. I mean, that's the biggest part that I found kind of in our journey of what we're doing is everybody has that one thing that they love. So find out what that is and find a way to merge that with them becoming friends, with them building more mental health experience with themselves so they can understand what's going on. You just put them in those calming situations, and it really does change everything for those people.
Helping people connect.
One of the biggest things and lead up to the mental health issues we see is isolation.
Yeah.
You pull yourself away from family and friends. You pull yourself away from that network, that body, that identity that you had as a veteran. You're not a soldier anymore. You're out. You're now a veteran. I used to do this. I used to be in charge of men. I used to be a defender. And now what do you do? And you're like, I can't pay my bills, and all the frustrations start adding up, and I don't have my team with me anymore, and all my guys aren't here, and you need to find a new team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got new brothers.
Absolutely.
You got a new mission. You didn't end your time. You moved. You have a new mission that you're going forth with. You still have a fight that you're in. We're going to forge that front line. It's a phrase I like to use in our prepper slogan. We're going to forge the front line. We're going to make that front line on our own mental health.
Yeah.
I really,
And
really
that's-
like that. One question I have for you. You're doing a lot of these connection activities, a lot of these education activities. What are a couple of these I guess not good, but big areas that you see a huge need for? You mentioned finance, and I know that's a big triggering piece to a lot of people's mental health. But other than finance, especially in the veterans construction world where they cross, what are a couple other big areas that you feel we really need to focus on to help some of them?
So I've had the privilege of connecting with, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the name right there. With the t-shirts, Grunt Style. Sorry. So Grunt Style is out of San Antonio, Texas, and they came up with a program that they were going out and they were advocating for soldiers' mental health. And now they reach out in a different type of modality. They've got involved with working with this guy that works with like mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms. This is for the folks that are having a lot of mental health and trauma needs. And they use this mushroom therapy that they go through and use. Don't get me lying about the name and pronunciation of it, but it's definitely worked for folks. Well, in doing that in Texas is on the borderline of what are they going to do with THC laws and the use of marijuana. So there are those that they say, hey, this has been an effective medical use for veterans to keep themselves calm, to keep away bad dreams, to relax them and get them in a state so they can actually get a good night's sleep. I've got a good friend of mine that he does smoke all the time. I mean, at night. He smokes at night to go to sleep. If he doesn't, the bad dreams come back in and he thrashes around in sleep. His wife will tell you if he doesn't get himself calmed down and goes to sleep, these dreams come back. He's sweating, thrashing around in bed, yelling. It just bad nightmare. But if he smokes something, gets himself good and relaxed, and then goes to sleep, he doesn't have the nightmares. He gets a better night's sleep. Now, me myself, I don't I don't smoke it. I don't. It's not for me. I tried it when I was in high school. It wasn't my thing, and I just it's
Right. Well, with that, there's a lot of studies for a lot of different type of medications. You're talking about psychedelics. You're talking about THC. A lot of these things are coming more mainstream. My personal, I mean, I'm not a veteran, but I have some serious PTSD from a lot of childhood trauma that I've been through. And the only way I was able to do that was actually doing the ketamine therapy, which has been very successful for veterans. And so I went down that road, and I will tell anybody that there's not one therapy that's going to work for everybody, but there are different modalities that work for a lot of people. For me, the ketamine was able to do exactly what you're saying. It relaxed my brain so that I was able to talk through and process that trauma. Sometimes it's mushrooms, sometimes it's THC. Sometimes people just need a couple drinks, and that's what helps them relax so they can kind of work on it too. So I don't knock any of these because everybody needs their form to help them relax and their form to help them process stuff. And so whatever works for them is, if it's activities like you're doing, if it's medication.
Things, if it's therapy, if it's there's so many different modalities out there for people to try. It's just actually going out and seeking what works best for them. So the more that we can put in front of them, the better.
think one other thing to look at in on all of so there's the modalities, but I think another very purposeful, needed thing is being able to identify it in yourself.
Yeah.
That, hey, here's the pathway I want to take in my life. I want to get from here to here. I want to become that better person. But these are the boulders that are in my way that I either got to go over, around, or through. Right. And sometimes those things can be really hard and heavy and in our way. And if you're not able to do it, you can reach out to a fellow team member that's been there and done that and go, hey, man, go this way. It's a short, better route if we go this way and try this. Or, hey, do this. I had a veteran that reached out to me. He was recently divorced, changed his job career, got into construction, was starting all over. He hadn't even finished paying for the lawyer, paying for the alimony, paying for all the divorce things that he went through, loss of the house, new job. He's kids, school's coming up. He got to enroll the kids back into school, all this pressure. He's in a brand new job. He's lower on the totem pole. So he hasn't made all the money that he's looking for yet. He's got 4 bald tires. He actually cut the water off to his apartment. He didn't have running water in his apartment. So that way he could take that money to buy his kids the stuff they needed to go to school. And so he's like, I'm swimming, man. The finances were going. He goes, I'm sinking in this and I don't know what to do. I have nothing and I've got nothing else to give. I don't know where I'm going to get it from. And I said, would you be willing for some help? He goes, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, I mean, give you help to pay for your utilities. He goes, talk to me. I said, there is a program right here in town that will work with. You're a veteran. They prove that you're a veteran. You show them your finances, what you're going through. They will pay all of your utilities for 3 months. And then for the rest of the time after that, you prorate the next 3 months. You're paying $20 a month and then $50 a month and then $100 a month until you're back on track. Does it fix your problems? Maybe not. But does it give you some breathing room?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you didn't have to pay your utilities, your electric, your water, your sewer for 3 months? Would it help you? God, yes. I might be able to. Let's go down and get you signed up. Well, how do I pay it back? You don't. It's based on a grant. You just didn't know about the program.
I mean, and that's what a lot of people don't know is there is a lot and a lot of programs in every single state and federal programs that do a lot of that stuff for people. You just got to start asking or looking for them because they're already out there. They already exist. It's finding those resources to bring back, and it really is when people ask you, and if you don't know the answer, work on it with them. Sometimes all they need is a partner to help them try to find those resources. And that just being that supportive person with them is the best thing you can do is walking through that fire with them, holding their hand.
So our covers program, if you've received training and you decide to be part of the program, once you've completed the steps of your training, we give you a hard hat sticker, and we have t-shirts as well now. And you take on the title of Pathfinder.
I
Right?
like
I
that.
like that a lot.
You are shining a light. You're helping put a light on a path to help somebody get from that dark spot to a better spot. You're not a doctor. You're not a psychologist. You're not answering the problem. You're not a loan officer. But hey, I can get you there. I can
Yeah.
get you to who you need. Here's the way around that boulder. Here's the light on this path to get you out. Come on, we can do it together. Come on, we can do it together.
That's amazing. And I mean, really, Shiloh, as we're kind of wrapping up here, I just have to commend you. You found a hole in the system and found a way to start filling it. And you continue to fill this hole. I mean, eventually you're going to have a mountain, not just this little hill that you've created because of your ambition to really just help your fellow veterans and help your fellow construction people. I have to commend you and just thank you for being the pioneer on this new path that you have started. I mean, just it's amazing. So thank you for what you've been doing that way.
Thank you both.
Thank you for your
Appreciate it.
service as well, Shiloh.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate that.
Shiloh,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
we always kind of end our episodes with turning the tables a little bit. But before we do that, I want to ask you if anybody's interested in covers, if anybody's interested in learning more about how to bring it to their AGC chapter, how can they reach out to you? What's going to be the best way for that before we dive into this last little segment? What's the best way to reach you or start that process?
Man, thank you so much. So we actually went out and got some 501c3. We actually have a web page now. If you look up HTTPS or www, CVRS, Construction Veterans Reducing Suicide. So CVRS-US, United States. So CVRS-US.org. That is our webpage. We have a contact link that's on there. You can send a message or you can send an email. And we actually have a phone number that got assigned through us as well. So we have a phone number that sets up that you can make a phone call, leave a message, or send a text to. I thought it was kind of interesting. So I signed up for this free phone number to assign to the webpage and to the covers program. And I was like, well, the things that you could pick, do you want it to be an 800 number? Do you want that simple? I want people to know it's out of Austin. I want to keep the 512 area code. So pick my area code and it picks a number for you. All right, here's your number. And the number came out and it was by happenstance. Just like I happened to catch this while I'm trying to pull it up on my phone as I got it here. A fake number. It's the area code is 512, and then the number is 537-8258. If you spell those last 7 numbers out, KEPT, KEPTALV, kept alive.
That the universe was reaching out to you on that one for sure, Shiloh. That's
I was
amazing.
trying to figure out what's the way I can remember this number. What's the number, right? And I was still going through and looking at it. KEPT. That spells kept alive. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Stars
Yeah.
aligned on
That's
someone.
amazing.
And since we opened up our website I guess this website's been up maybe 6 months. We're now at 62,000 visitors to our website.
That's huge. That's huge. And everybody listening, okay. And we will make sure all that information is in our podcast description for anybody. So you just be able to click on it and I'll get that from you after the show. But as we're wrapping up, Shiloh, we always turn the tables to the guest and we now become the interviewees and you become the interviewer. Is there questions that you have for us that maybe something you want to know about us or anything on your mind? We like to kind of turn the tables and let you have the floor for a minute.
What inspired the podcast and doing just this? What got you to say, hey, let's put this together and put it out there and investing in time and equipment and bandwidth and putting that, because this is a big product. You're doing what I happily talk to on it, but to host it and do it, you guys are doing great. I know what your mission is with your nonprofit, but how does the podcast working tie in, and how did you get into doing this?
You want me to take this?
Yeah, you go ahead and take it.
Long story short, I had my personal suicide attempt in March of 24. And that led up with a lot of different issues for myself, substance abuse, medical issues. There's a lot of things that led up that got me to that place. After I had survived that and reached out, I just didn't get the support from my place of work because literally they looked at me and says, we don't know how to help you. And that just kind of, okay, well, there's an issue here, but I need to work on myself. Maybe we can have some discussions later on. I started my treatment, going through everything to make myself whole again and just really work on myself. And a couple weeks into that, we had a coworker that died by suicide. And then the next week, I had another fellow person in the industry that we were friends died by suicide. And so within a 30-day period, there were 3 of us. I was luckily the one who survived. The other 2 did not. And so that brought up a huge problem and made me start researching. And I didn't know the issues with construction at the time. I had no idea. I've been in industry, but I was just not paying attention. And so after I started researching, I started seeing the issues and how big of an issue it was and didn't know how to help. And so I kind of tabled the idea of as I was working and trying to get better. And after I got to a good point, we started having discussions. My wife is she's 10 and a half years sober herself and been in the recovery business for that long time, working for a recovery center. And so we're very well into that scene, but we didn't know how to help. We'd like, well, let's be like Jelly Roll and sing songs and write about it. Neither of us can do that. So that was out the door. And I started writing a book, which hopefully will get finished in the next year or so, and we'll bring that out. But that wasn't fast enough. I needed something else. I needed a way to reach people. And we have some friends here locally that have been on the radio for 20 plus years and started their own podcast. And we've seen how successful they were. And we're like, we can figure this out.
We can talk.
We're not stupid, but we're not smart, but we can probably figure it out. So it's been a long journey with the podcast thing, but it was the way that we thought we could reach somebody. And we started it just hoping that one person that was listening, we could help them with some of the information that we were sharing from our personal story or a guest we had on. Lo and behold, we are now a year into this, 63 episodes and counting. And we have had, I can't count the amount of people that have reached out to us and said, thank you for sharing this, or where can I get more information? And we really accomplished what we wanted to do. We didn't care about what it cost us. We didn't care about any of this. We were just trying to provide it. And it has just taken legs of its own and introduced us to people, which now we started the nonprofit because of people we met because of the podcast and me sharing my story. And that's kind of where we're at. And
started an entire snowball effect just from this little tiny podcast.
Yeah. And it's turned into something where we just I think today, I'll have to go back, but I think today we broke 100,000 people who have viewed us, which is a huge number for I guess for two people who didn't know what they were doing.
Two little people in Utah. So yeah.
The other cool thing I didn't tell you, so I partnered with 988 Live On campaign here in Utah, and I'm
Okay.
their spokesperson this year for men over 40. And we shot a commercial in a quarry because that's where I spend most of my time is in sand and gravel quarries. And so we shot the commercial in the actual quarry while it was running with equipment in the background. And it airs every day, multiple times a day on every local channel here, trying to reach that demographic and trying to reach the guys in our industry, letting them know, but hey, guess what? This guy is a real person. He's not an actor. He's in your industry. He suffered and he's here today because he reached out. Reach out and call 988. And it has been, I'm just so grateful and overwhelmed every time I talk about that because it really, I've had people I haven't talked to in years. I've had people pull me aside in the grocery store and say, hey, you're that guy on TV. I seen your commercial. And that's been such a blessing to be part of that. And I hope to be able to do more of that. And all of that came just because we had an idea of let's start a podcast and see if we can make this happen.
See if we can help one person. And yeah. And now I feel like I'm so proud of you because you're helping hundreds and thousands of people now. So just with your mug on TV.
So you found your new mission, right? You found your new team. You found your new purpose and drive, and that is amazing, brother. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for choosing to stay with us. Thank you for everything that you're doing to make things not only better for yourself, but in the works and help for those around you and being a pathfinder, shining a light forward for those, because that's what you're doing.
I appreciate that. I couldn't do it without the support and people like you. And this is the best thing for me. I get to talk to people like you, Shiloh. I mean, on other parts of the country, the one episode I know you listened to was my friend from Canada that's doing good work up there. And the people that we've connected is just amazing. And that's the best part about this for us is making these new connections and starting to help people outside of our little bubble here in Utah and getting it to grow. So thank you for being willing to hang out with two people from Utah who think they know what they're doing with the podcast.
Pretty cool. You're doing a bang up job, man, because
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, everybody, we will make sure and put all this information that Shiloh's provided in the podcast description. A really easy way to reach out to him as well is through LinkedIn. That's how I found Shiloh. If you just look up Shiloh Rowe on LinkedIn, you can message him on there. It's a great way to get in contact with him as well. So just wanted to throw that out there. And everybody, again, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. We couldn't continue to do this without everybody's support, without our constant increase of viewers, and everybody sharing these. And that's our challenge every episode when we finish is somebody that is listening, know somebody that can benefit from the information we share today, or that maybe knows somebody that can help Shiloh increase his mission. You can share this episode with somebody you know that needs to hear it and make a difference in their life. So that's our challenge with everybody listening is take this information and share it with somebody in your life that you know could benefit from it. So thank you everybody for tuning in today. We appreciate your time and don't forget that you are
Such a big deal.
such a big deal. Thanks everybody.